Rack and roll. Shadows of Centris. All right, so the big guy is clearly going to take advantage in at least 3 other ways from all this, right? How do you think he's going to do it? Amadi says as they help herd the sheer amount of criminal girls around. They were guarding a hallway the guests weren't allowed to go down, and most of them were hungry enough by this point to simply follow the arrows, but they are getting funny looks from a few of them. Well, let's see. It was publicly released, and despite clearly being a show trial with the verdict both obvious and one-sided from the word go, he did it in a weird way. He called in 3 other people who weren't even slightly touched by this and deferred judgment. He didn't even really act as a prosecutor, he just stood around and presented evidence when it was asked of him. He deferred to a Canador mercenary leader, the representative of a bunch of game worlds where they have a huge number of professional hunters bringing income. Finally, the representative of way stations along the galactic lane. Military power, thrill seekers, and necessary infrastructure, Reggie says, and Koa considers further. Armored troopers, snipers, and logistics, Koa realized. He just showed all 3 of their peoples are of high value and respect to the undaunted. Chance for recruitment just went through the roof, Amadi says. Damn. And the dip in stocks of the companies Madame Olifus used to have power over will let him buy in and get some control, Koa says. These women too. We're getting allies on the ground here on Centris, Reggie notes. Water into wine, guys. Water into wine, Amadi says with a snicker. It takes several minutes for the whole horde of the women to pass them towards the cafeterias. 3 of them were being used to feed everyone, and the cooks were working full-time. With the crowd gone, they pull off a few arrows and bundle up the tape before heading into the next area of their guard duty. After a while, several different women are heading to the indicated bathrooms. The quick adjustment to the stalls to make sure that Canador could use them without crushing them or being crushed by the size of the stall was a clever bit of Axiom bullshit. One of the girls needing to use the can is a Muffus, who stares at the 3 of them for a bit before heading into the bathroom. About 5 minutes after she leaves back into the cafeteria, another Muffus comes out and all but marches up to them. Can we help you? Koa asks, and she just examines them for a bit. I have some questions, she says, and the 3 of them glance to each other before Koa shrugs. Certainly, as long as you understand that some things will be classified, Koa says evenly, and she nods. How did you do it? She asks, and he raises an eyebrow. How did you reverse our ambush? Where did those other 2 come from, and how did you work so well together? You were focusing on us so much that when our reinforcements arrived, you didn't notice. This gave them time to get to either side of your forces and hit you hard. Koa answers, and she considers. I see they also moved fast and hard. Do you Undaunted offer that sort of thing as training in some way? She asks, and Koa gives a so-so gesture. We can give the skills, but experience is also an important teacher. The 2 that hit you have not only our level of training, but also a lot more experience than anyone else on the crew. They spent their lives in war and combat. A lot of people break under the stress, but they didn't. They grew stronger instead. How do you do that? It's a mindset thing. It's not easy, and it's not instinctive, not even for humans. Even apex predators and sentiments need a sense of safety and seek out some form of peace. It takes a lot of pressure and more than a few psychological tricks to shift things around like that. Koa explains, and Amadi nods. We've talked about this a fair bit with each other. It's the place where obsession, survival, and bloodlust meet. To seek out further danger, refuse to die, and do so relentlessly. Growing, learning, and paying attention every step of the way. It's not something to do lightly. It's not something that leaves you unscathed, and it's not something that leaves you unchanged. We have a soldier undergoing it right now on a failed colony world called Lacran. There are a lot of Lacrans, she says, unable to find anything else to say. This one was going to be colonized about 1,000 years ago, and things went completely wrong. The colonists survived, but lost their technology, so they've regressed to primitivism. The situation is odd, but we've got a soldier there who's managed to pinpoint the world for us, and rescue is on the way, both for him and the world. He's also undergoing the process, the one that separates people like the two that hit you girls from the rest of us. The shifting situation, the sheer danger, and the fact he can't properly delegate beyond the basics means he's forced to improve or die. Amadi explains. Don't forget to tell her that most people simply die when things like that start happening. It's insane to willingly put anyone through it, and trying will just as likely give you a corpse. And if it does work, people tend to resent being forced into hell just so someone has a super soldier. People like that often wonder good and hard why they have to listen to a leader they don't respect, or who wouldn't go through the nightmare they did to make things happen, Reggie says. Noted. So what? Those two are... What CEOs are to business, those two are to soldiers. Does that make sense? Koa states, and she nods before giving him an odd look. What? Eve wants to talk to you. I don't know what you did to her when you had her hostage, but she's been thinking about you. A lot, she says, and Koa nearly flinches as Reggie cackles. Guess she wants more attention from Daddy, Amadi says with a straight face, and Koa tries and fails to keep the sheer horror off his face as Reggie starts to choke, trying to keep down the laugh. Way to keep things professional, boys, Koa remarks dryly. What's the matter? Feeling bashful? Amadi asks. That's racist. Reggie needles. You're racist. Oh my God. Koa groans as the Muffies outright giggles at the exchange. Then she stops and examines all three of them. You're trying to set me at ease, she realizes before taking a step back. Yay, part of a crash course we were all given for putting civilians at ease without compromising our ability to function. Something I'm sure a militia would find useful, wouldn't it? Amadi says before smiling. An important part is giving information that is both accurate and useless. After all, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that war is stressful and getting good at it has consequences. Okay, fine, you humans are big, scary, and so on and so forth. What's the plan? What are you trying to do? There's no way that you have a force this well trained, this eager for combat, and as active as you people have been without some kind of goal, she asks, and Reggie smirks. This is first contact, no matter what. We needed a good foothold in here, and Reggie's cut off when the door to the hallway opens and a Canador skulks in before going to the bathroom, but not before waggling her eyebrows at the Muffies, who buries her face in her hands. After that, the girl simply leaves, and all three men are left mildly amused but still on duty for a while yet. In the end, it takes a couple of hours to feed them all, and then they start distributing people's possessions via the group again. For some reason, Command is having the same wanderers that encountered the gangs giving back the equipment. At least where applicable, some of the Undaunted got hurt pretty badly by sneak attacks. You girls really like your Enro Industries stuff. There a reason for it? Easy maintenance. Not to mention being able to pull apart and put a weapon back together easily means you can actually build them out of spare parts. Most of these weapons didn't start as weapon, but bulk shipments of components. The Woolgathers reply as they take their toys back. There's a bit of excitement as a few different groups of the armed population test fire their weapons into the ceiling or walls. They quickly find themselves staring down the barrels of a large number of human weapons for that bit of stupidity. The escort off the Dauntless is then accelerated as that bit of stupidity has pushed everyone's patience to the breaking point and things are finally wrapped up. There's a collective sigh of relief on the Dauntless, followed by several laughs as a few cloaken spies are literally thrown out and things are closed up. Soon enough, all three men are in one of the mess halls, and the cooks had apparently decided to just keep things hot and ran with a Mexican theme as it was that time of week, and also opened the bars up. So, we've got about a dozen major gangs and friendly to us now. Is this going to make cruising for conspiracies easier or harder? Amadi asks. Could go either way. Also, there's a chance that the wanderings might just be canceled. We've been shown very clearly that there is issues with just having soldiers wandering around in the city, Reggie replies. Well, it's not like they can really stop. Centris isn't actively hostile territory, even if individual levels or entire spires might be. There are rules for how long we can be deployed, so if we're on break, having a wanderer nearby as possible, backup is just good. Not to mention we're getting information bounced off us even if we're not actively looking for it. Wanderers are just potential backup for shore leave, Koa says. True, we can't legally patrol beyond the landing pad the Dauntless is on, and we can't guard anywhere that isn't officially ours. But the wanderings allow us to get soldiers all over the place, and it looks like a joke. With some of the tech people have been screwing with, we'll be ready for anything if it gets released, Reggie says, considering out loud, which might be another benefit we get out of this. It pushes forward the need for easily concealed and adorned equipment. If that accelerates a bit, then our wanderers can go from some guys with hidden guns and maybe vests into walking tanks, Koa says as he pushes through the thoughts. That could be just as much a problem as anything, though. The Admiral may have been able to make the trial a dog and pony show, but that doesn't mean we'll get a slam dunk every legal case. If some governor on a spire or another group raises accusations of us being there for violence, then having an entire armory on us is a major ding against us, Amadi reminds them. True, we've not been here for even a year yet, in a galaxy that can count centuries like we count days, where people can be immature idiots into their 70s and it's not even considered weird. As far as most people are concerned, we've just barely shown up. They're still in the stage where they're gushing about how cute and new we are. What happens when that honeymoon wears off? Reggie asks. We'll be ready, Koa says. Easy to say when you don't think about it. But this whole clusterfuck, dozens in the infirmary, the whole legal farce and more, that's because we pissed off the galactic equivalent of a supermarket manager on a power trip. We need more people. We need more power and experience and more everything, Reggie says, before putting his hand to his head. Koa puts his hand on his shoulder. Then we'll get it. You're right. The galaxy is absolutely gigantic and moves on a timescale so slow that events shorter than a year are barely even noticed. But that's as much an advantage as anything else. We have their secrets to nearly eternal lives, but we still live faster. Much faster. We move faster. We do everything faster. Before the bigger forces even consider stomping on us, we'll spread out under them like an ocean. We're a thin wisp of smoke in the sea right now, but they aren't paying attention. By the time they do fire, we'll rush to the sky, and from a volcano, a new island will be born. Keep it in perspective, Reggie. If this thing is so big it barely notices us, then that just means we have all the time we need to do whatever we want to it. Its own strength will make it helpless in front of us, Amadi says, and Koa chuckles. Of course, to hear people like us talk about it, it almost sounds like we're trying to invade. Koa notes with a smile as he goes to take another drink. Oh, please, you could misconstrue anything into anything. I am an engineer. I use numerous high-powered devices to the great satisfaction of my clients and often end up covered in fluids. I'm also a soldier. Repeated movement, grunting, looking good, and physical exertion are a major part of my job. Reggie says in a deadpan, and Koa snorts so hard he splashes some of his drink into his eyes. Oh, God damn it, man! Couldn't you have timed it better? Koa asks as he gets his laughter under control and wipes himself clean with a napkin. I was trying to get you to spit take, but I need to work on my timing, Reggie notes. Nice, Amadi says with a chuckle.